Steph, thank you so much. To some stories we're following right now. One person is dead after an early morning fire that happened near Upper Jarvis.
We are now awaiting the arrival of the Toronto Fire Service investigator, and Toronto Fire Service, along with Toronto Police and the Office of the Fire Marshal, will commence the investigation into the origin, cause, and circumstances of this fatal fire.
Crews were called to an apartment building on Huntley Street. This is in the Bloor and Jarvis area just after 1:30 this morning. And there was a lot of heavy smoke coming from the 7th floor. One person taken to a trauma center but was later pronounced dead. A second person taken to hospital in stable condition. Now, we are standing by live outside the scene right now. You can see what's left of that unit here, absolutely charred. What we can tell you is that residents have been allowed back in, and there's no word yet on how long the fire marshal's office will be on scene to investigate. Right now, we don't have word on a cause. Let's get to politics now. It is day 18 on the campaign trail for federal leaders as the campaign hits that halfway point. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau, we know he is in Toronto this morning making an announcement at 10 a.m. Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole will be making an announcement at 11 in Ottawa. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh with a housing announcement in Quebec at 9:30, and that's followed by a virtual town hall in the evening. And Green leader Annamie Paul, again in Toronto, she'll be holding a news conference on decriminalization, and that is happening at 2:30. All right, we have some breaking news for you. Premier Ford making an announcement at 1 this afternoon. We can assume this is with the vaccine certificate because we have a number of those from the government who are joining him. I can rhyme them off. Minister of Health and Deputy Premier Christine Elliott. And here's a key one. Khalid Rashid, who is Associate Minister of Digital Government, and then alongside Kieran Moore, who is the Chief Medical Officer of Health. So let's bring in 680's Queen's Park reporter Richard Southern. Again, this information just coming out. First time we're going to hear from the Premier in months, Richard. What exactly are we expecting to hear?
Well, sources tell me, Mel, that yes, indeed, this is going to be the vaccine certificate announcement coming up at this news conference this afternoon. Still trying to pin down, Mel, some of the details about what we're going to hear. Specifically, we want to know, right? I mean, what type of restrictions are we going to be looking at? Where are you going to need to show this to get in, right? Are we going to have to show it at restaurants, at movie theaters? Those are the details we're going to be looking at. You're right to point out the digital associate minister showing up, because I'm told that the government has really only been looking at a digital version of this. It's not going to be like a health card, your physical card you're going to have. We understand it's going to be something like we're looking at there by way of a QR code. Yeah, first time, Mel, in almost 5 weeks that the Premier has taken questions from reporters. Obviously, we have quite a few of them for the Premier this afternoon.
No doubt you will have a number of them for you. And there's a lot on the table. So let's first talk about the vaccine certificate and what we're expected to see. Yesterday, we were hoping an announcement will come out yesterday, and there was a lot of kerfuffle on some back and forth. Do you have any idea what those discussions looked like and why it went back and forth?
Yeah, well, my sources told me that the Premier was not happy with the first draft that went to Cabinet on Tuesday during the day. There was a long discussion about that on Tuesday, apparently. Premier wasn't happy. I'm told Cabinet met again last night starting at 8 p.m. And that was a Cabinet meeting, Mel, that I'm told went a fair ways into the night, again, starting late at 8 p.m. But they did reach some consensus. That's why we're going to have this news conference today. But, I mean, listen, this is something the Premier has pushed back against quite forcibly for the past couple of months. He told me on July 15th, Richard, I'm not doing this. We're not going to have a split society. But, Mel, since then, I think the Premier's really kind of been backed into a corner in many ways on this issue.
Okay, so then are we playing this politics game then? Because you're hearing from opposition leaders, you're hearing from stakeholders, you're hearing from a number of people saying we need this. So is this now to save his political career?
Sure. I mean, it was every day there was a new group coming out saying, where's the vaccine certificate? You know, I would speculate the Premier's office said, we gotta move on from this issue. We're getting hit on it quite hard. Maybe it's also the case the Premier came around to it. I mean, we heard Mayor Tory just yesterday saying, I don't care what the Premier thought before. It matters what he thinks now. And, you know, maybe that is true. Who knows if the electorate is going to remember this? There's obviously been a few flip-flops like this during the COVID crisis, Mel, be it with masks early in the pandemic or this fall with paid sick days where, the premier said, we're not doing this, we can't do it, and then they end up doing it. Will voters remember that when we go to the polls in June? Who knows? But yeah, there's been some notable flip-flops, all right.
My goodness, some big news here again. So this news conference happening at 1 this afternoon. Please do stay with us. CityNews.ca. You can also follow Richard. Your Twitter account, Richard, just give us a quick shout out because I know you live tweet a lot.
Yeah, at Richard 680 News. As soon as I get any more information about this, we'll have it on my Twitter account and on 680. Mel, it's going to be a busy day at Queen's Park.
Oh, yeah. Go get that coffee, Richard. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Good to see you. Take care.
All right. So again, 1 o'clock news conference. A lot of people will be watching this one to see what it is exactly when it comes to the sort of certificate program, I should say, and how it's going to be rolled out, when it's going to be rolled out. So many questions. We'll get those answers for you right now, though.